in the Kentucky Derby.
Move around the turn. The leader, Warabno, 2.5 for 3.
Secretary is in the center of the racetrack. The Adel Sloop drawing alongside again. Warabno is still there. Warabno is pulling away. He's got another gear. Down the stretch they come in the Derby. Wheel away takes command. Lion Hart is all hot. Smarty Jones is all out. And here is the first undefeated winner of the Kentucky Derby since Seattle Slow of 1976.
And a good Wednesday morning to everyone from around the world, from Churchill Downs in the Ville, where the main track is fast. Cloudy conditions today, but the temperatures are warmer than the prior few mornings. A much more pleasant morning this morning for those of us that prefer the more mild temperatures. Oaks and Derby countdown is on. We're in the heat of it. We are just a few days away from opening day and about 10 or so days away from the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby. Welcome to the Morning Workout Show presented by TwinSpires.com. As with every day leading up to the Kentucky Derby, there are headlines to be had. We heard yesterday that Chad Brown has mostly taken Iron Honor out of Derby consideration. We'll talk a bit more than that, allowing for Chip Honcho to draw into the Derby should they decide to run. Last year, we saw Sovereignty storm down the center of the track in the slop, and he is coming back to Churchill Downs. He's going to be training with us this morning. He's going to be here for a few weeks before returning to New York. Return trip to Kentucky, though, not out of the question. Stephen Foster later this year. Incredibolt and Emerging Market were on the track yesterday. It was our first look at Emerging Market. Incredible. We saw him last fall here at Churchill Downs. They both were on the racetrack yesterday. And also the Puma. The Tampa Bay Derby winner, lightly raced and has really done very little wrong, arrived at Churchill Downs yesterday and he rolled off the van. There's the Puma. He might remind you of a Derby winner of a few years ago named Mage. Same connections, some similar characteristics to both horses. Mage and the Puma, both lightly raced coming into the Kentucky Derby. Welcome to Louisville, the Puma, and welcome to the Aristides Loft, Tony Kalo. I'm Travis Stone. Tony, good morning. We were pulling in this morning, and all of a sudden, there's orange barriers on the way in, so we had to alter course.
Yeah, we did. I felt like it was in a cornfield maze in New York. I continued to run into stoppages and finally worked my way out and found a nice parking spot.
If you've never been to the Derby, every year there's something new you got to figure out, and every year also going to figure out the horses and who's going to win these two big races next weekend. And to help us with that, we've got a couple of gals on the backstretch here this morning, and one of which is Caitlin Benson. Good morning, Caitlin.
Good morning, Travis and Tony. It's a pretty nice morning out here. It's one of the nicer ones we've had so far since this show has started. A somewhat expected defection came yesterday, Iron Honor, but as you alluded to, Travis, the door is still just a little bit cracked. If there is a bigger type of a defection, Chad Brown could reconsider, and this horse could van down from New York. I believe he's expected to work in the near future. That allows Chip Honcho to get into the race, and Steve Asmussen has a little bit of time to mull over what he wants to do with him. There's been some arrivals here. You mentioned the Puma. So Happy Intrepido also arrived here yesterday, and the international horses are expected to be here very, very soon. 6 Speed might already be here. I think he's scheduled to get here sometime this morning. And I also just got a report from Kate Hunter that Dan and Bourbon just landed in Chicago. He's going to have a 42-hour quarantine, and he will be here on Friday. So excited to see all of those horses. I'm looking forward to catching up hopefully shortly with Gustavo Delgado Jr. Gustavo Delgado Sr. was just up here, said hello to him. He just got in here recently, so it's going to be a busy morning for these connections as we look forward to seeing these horses on the track for the first time since they arrived. But let's go ahead and send it over to somewhere else on the backstretch with Ren Carruthers. Ren, where are you at this morning?
Well, I'm outside the Foley barn because I thought So Happy was going to be over here. He's actually somewhere else. We're going to go scope that out and the lay of the land, see how those horses who came in from California have settled in. You mentioned Emerging Market being on track yesterday. Got to see him up close and personal at Chad Brown's barn. You know, the horse is not the most intimidating, formidable looking horse, but boy, what a pedigree he has. I'm going to be bringing you a pedigree profile on him later today. And the other thing I'll say, just as a handicapper, you know, I'm the analyst for Tampa Bay Downs. I was there for Emerging Markets debut. That horse, in his first start, went just shy of a second off the track record for distance, mile 40, that we run a lot there, and he battled doing it. So this is one of those horses I'm extremely excited about as we look to the Kentucky Derby. But for now, back to you, Travis and Tony.
Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Ren. Tony, leaderboard in fluctuation each and every day as we figure out who's in, who's out. It did take a bit of an adjustment yesterday with the news from Chad Brown, but this first page, holding firm.
Yeah, holding firm, and we're very happy to see that.
Commandment, further ado, Renegade. I don't know how these odds shake out in this year's Kentucky Derby. You can see 6 Speed at the bottom. Caitlin mentioned that he's drawing into the race. I will say, stark contrast, who was widely considered to be an American turf contender. A little birdie on the backstretch told me he trained in his Derby saddlecloth today.
A little sneaky. I know he's got a lot of turf blood top and bottom, but he ran a bang-up effort in the Ruby, and it's been a productive race of late.
And the AE list, as we wait to see who draws into this race. Intrepido in on his way to California. From California, Litmus Test, Great White, Ocelli, all hoping to get into this race. I guess there's still time, but we do draw Saturday.
Yeah, it's getting closer and closer Saturday. 22 and 23, both those horses would add some pace to the race.
We've mentioned a lot of horses coming and going here at Churchill Downs for this year's Oaks and Derby, one of which got his first look at the racetrack yesterday. That's Emerging Market for trainer Chad Brown. Lightly raced, just 2 career starts to his name, both of which were wins.
Seems like every day, Travis, we have a different horse that dazzles us. Yesterday it was Emerging Market. He made such an appearance, a grand appearance on the racetrack.
This horse is 2 for 2. So obviously you worry about seasoning and experience, but then you look at the 2 races that he ran, and Ren just mentioned it, one of which was a real battle down the stretch in a fast time at Tampa. And then in just career start number 2, was shipped on a van up to the fairgrounds, where he got in a dogfight with a much more seasoned Pavlovian and also beat a fellow Derby rival in Golden Tempo. Won both of them.
Relatively inexperienced, very inexperienced, but what he lacks there, he makes up in fight. This horse is battle tested already in 2 starts, and he's won at a mile and 3/16.
Trainer Chad Brown has knocked on the door a few times in the Kentucky Derby, and he's going to try this horse here. I don't know where I put him up against a horse like Zandon yet, but if I had to read between the lines, we'll hear from Chad in a moment, I think he thinks quite a bit of this horse.
Obviously he does. 2 starts under his belt, and he's going to go for it. And I don't blame him. He's earned his way here with the points. This is a gutty win. This horse has shown the will to succeed. You cannot underestimate that.
The other thing that is you can't overlook here, this is a mile 3/16. So not only was it career start number 2, then he was going a distance that horses very rarely run.
Very, very strong win.
Got up to win it just in the moment. Chad Brown talked to us yesterday.
It's a big ask. I know it's be attempting a rare feat here with him, but he's a really special talent. He's always trained like he's one of the best horses of our crop. Last year as a 2-year-old, and it just took him a while to get to the races. But he's here, and he's in great form, and the Derby's a difficult race to win. There's so many factors, and you got to worry about the post and weather. And I look back at horses I brought here that I thought had a really good chance to win, and I got beat by horses that were long shots. So I kind of look at it like, well, why not take a shot? Because we're trying to do something that's hard to do. But on the other hand, I've looked back at horses that have beat me on the wire, and I'm like, I wouldn't have figured that horse. So anything can happen, I guess I'm trying to say. Rich Strike drew in, and another time I had Zandon, and then other times, with good magic, we got beat by a Triple Crown winner, Justify. So you just never know year to year what you're going to run into here, and anything can happen. So I'd rather take my shot with a horse that I think has the talent to compete with the top 3-year-olds. It's just for a lightly raced horse, only 2 starts, that he's been in 2 battles in the stretch and put his nose down. I agree with you. I think that says a lot. He's certainly bred to get the distance. You have a lot of horses that are, all the horses in the field are stepping out, to a new territory here, going a mile and a quarter. And I know everyone feels good about it until the 8th pole comes, and it separates a lot of them. So I've been there myself with certain horses. So this horse certainly feels, with a mile and 3/16 under his belt and only his 2nd start, and he handled that pretty good, that just a touch extra distance won't bother him.
Chad has been knocking on the door.
Yeah, great horseman, and one of these years he will break through.
You can hear the way he talks. He's a very tactical trainer. He thinks things through, analytical.
Sierra Leone just misses. Zandon run down late, and Good Magic runs into Justify.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. Sierra Leone probably should have won that, or at least been, right there with Forever Young. Emerging Market, he's just 2 for 2, but Ren, you're saying that his pedigree says he can run all day.
This is actually, of all the contenders, one of, if not the best pedigrees you could ever want for the Kentucky Derby. It screams mile and a quarter, generation after generation. This is a son of Candy Ride. He won the Pacific Classic. The mom here, Wild Empress, she's a daughter of Empire Maker who won the Belmont. That's a mile and a half. She also is, you're not going to see this on the graphic itself, but the mother is a half-sister to champion 2-year-old She Be Wild. And then the second dam, that is Trapping. She is a daughter of Seeking the Gold. He won the Super Derby when it was a mile and a quarter. And then the third dam, Duck Trap, stakes winning daughter of Triple Crown champion Affirmed. Again, if there was any horse in this field who should get the mile and quarter of the Kentucky Derby, it is Emerging Market. Back to you guys.
We'll see. Chad Brown, Emerging Market, 2 for 2. Certainly has a big shot, and he actually might be a good price, too. How about Incredible Tony, a horse that we saw last year in the Street Sense Stakes? He really turned some heads when he won that race, just by the way he did it, because it reminded us of another horse that did it the year prior. Yeah, exactly. Sovereignty had used the Street Sense to propel him to go forward. Obviously, Bill Mott, Riley, Bill's son. Here's Incredible. He looked sensational winning the Virginia Derby. That was a one-turn race. He was into the race early. Maybe he's a little more forward in the Kentucky Derby. He actually did show way more speed in that race than he had in his prior races, particularly the race before, where he was basically a non-participant down at Gulfstream Park, which makes him a bit of a tricky read, because now he's really had only one meaningful start all year, and the Virginia Derby is far enough off the Kentucky Derby, but they could have considered another start in between. They elected to just come right here. Just some things to think about. But in my opinion, this is one that is flying a bit under the radar, given the fact he's won over this racetrack, and he did finish that Virginia Derby with a big kick. It was a big kick. He took kickback, dove to the rail, and came with a huge run. Riley's going to have to keep an eye on 2 sets of Pin Oak Silks, because he also has Albus, who won the Wood Memorial. Similar running style to Incredible, although I don't think he's nearly as quick early. Albus will come from farther back. Yeah, he's going to be from far off the pace. He exits the Wood Memorial. I remember as a kid growing up, the Wood Memorial was one of the top preps leading up to the Kentucky Derby. It hasn't been that way of late. Pace was quick in that Wood Memorial as well. It really sort of fell into his favor, in addition to him and Right to Party, who ran second in that race, and Ocelli, who's on the AE list as well. So he's going to need some pace help, but he probably has to get a bit faster. He's going to have to get a lot faster, but 3-year-olds can make up ground, in a rapid fashion this time of the year. It's not unheard of to have 5, 10, 15-point jumps from race to race, right? Exactly. But he might get some more pace help with Chip Honcho, too. He's hoping for that. Yeah. He's going to have to get better, that's for sure. He's flying under the radar. I think he's probably 30+ to 1, right? He's going to be one of the bottom 5 in terms of long shots for this year's Kentucky Derby. I don't know where Silent Tactic falls in terms of odds, because the reality is he has not won the most recent preps, but he's also run very well. And he's consistent, and he's a closer, and there's a trainer who everybody recognizes, Silent Tactic. He's an interesting runner at the very least. Talk about battle-tested. 4 preps here in 2026, all in Arkansas, and he's run exceptionally well. 6 career starts, 2 wins, 4 seconds. It's the recent race that has everybody a little bit questioning him, soundly defeated by Renegade, one of the probable favorites. Yeah, Silent Tactic, you can see him here on the racetrack. Yesterday at Churchill Downs, he wintered in Arkansas, and he shipped in last week, so our first few looks at Silent Tactic. Mark Cassey has a huge operation, and one of his assistant trainers, Alan Hardy, caught up with us on Silent Tactic, plus the fillies that they have pointing for the Kentucky Oaks.
He's shipped in well. Actually all of them, they arrived, and they look great, and they're training well, and they actually had their first day galloping on the track today. And I just went a mile and a quarter, but so far they seem to adapt well, and that's the biggest thing when you're shipping in from different places and how they handle it. But they seem like professionals, and all 3 of them are very professional about their job and seem to know what they're doing, and just looking forward to work. They're going to work here later on this week, and just knock on wood, everything goes well up to the moment. Chris Torres, he's going to come in and he's going to work, search party and silent tactic for those two works. Not really changing much up. They've been running well, and Mark's got a good system, how he handles and plans everything. So we're just going to not really change anything too much and just go from there and have a little luck, hopefully.
Silent tactic, counting stars, search party. It's quite the lineup of horses Mark Casse has for Oaks and Derby.
Mark has such a great barn. I talk about how Brad Cox says, hey, it's cool to wake up early and get to the barn. Must be the same for Mark.
Yeah, for sure. Another operation that spans across the country is that of Steve Asmussen and Chip Honcho. Earlier in the year, Tony felt like a major player with a big-time runner-up effort to Paladin. But the clunker last time left everybody, including Steve, sort of scratching their head.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to forgive efforts. That will get him to have more value come the first Saturday in May. He will add pace to the race. I think he benefits if he gets an outside post. Some question marks with the distance. He had a 2-length lead against Paladin, couldn't seal the deal, didn't run a jump in the mile 3/16 Louisiana Derby.
Yeah, obviously he's going to have to bounce out of that. His work on the track, it's not a workout, his training on the track yesterday, you could see in the early part of this video, he tossed his head about. He can do that a bit. He can get a bit unsettled and restive early in his races.
That will not serve him very well on the first Saturday.
Yeah, 2 furlong run to the first turn, always a big field, a lot of crowd, a lot of action. He could easily inject some serious pace into this year's Derby. Trainer Steve Asmussen spoke with us yesterday.
He's moved here to Churchill, trained really impressively, and continues to do well. But a lot of variables between here and the Derby. I think we've timed it to where we plan on working him on Saturday morning.
Trainer Steve Asmussen, much like Chad Brown, seeking that first Kentucky Derby win. And you got to think when Epicenter turned for home, he thought he was home.
I think we all thought he was home.
Yeah.
You had to call the race. You must have thought he was home.
Yeah, we showed that replay, and Rich Drake came up the rail, gave me PTSD. Caitlin Benson on the backstretch, and she's got our special guest this morning. Caitlin, who you got?
Well, I am joined by a man here who brought a Kentucky Derby winner here just a few years ago with his father, of course, the father and son duo of the Gustavo Delgado Jr. and Sr. I'm joined by Jr. here, and you brought Mage here in 2023 with a little bit of confidence that was different from some of your previous Derby starters. Is the Puma kind of giving you the same feeling?
People like to make a comparison of both of them. I don't think it's fair. But, yeah, this horse, you have seen the prep races down in Florida. He's doing pretty well. I think he's coming in the right momentum. We're going to see now, first time at the track, whether he likes it. I have the feeling he's going to like it. So we will know better in a few minutes. But so far, so good. I think both horses, they have a lot of similarities.
There have been a lot of comparisons, as you said, but one thing that is a little bit different is the Puma has an extra race that Mage didn't have. Following that win in the Tampa Bay Derby, you ran him just 3 weeks later in the Florida Derby. A little bit unconventional compared to what some other trainers would do. Why did you think it was important to make that extra start heading into this race?
Well, we wanted to have this 5 weeks periods between the Florida Derby and Kentucky. And honestly, we didn't want to ship twice. So it made sense at the time, because the other option we had was the bluegrass. So instead of sending him to the bluegrass, Keeneland, and then coming back to Churchill. So it was more like staying home, Florida. He's been training Gulfstream for a while now, so it made sense. So, 3 weeks period from the Tampa Bay Derby to the Florida Derby. He put a really nice effort. It was a tough beat, as I'm sure you saw it. But, other than that, he came back well. And now, with more time, I think he's filling up a little bit better. And so far, the last race before coming here was really nice. I don't expect to do much. We're not planning to do much here. So you're going to see him gallop. We're not really sure if we're going to actually breeze. So something like that.
That was kind of the questions I was going to allude to next. If you plan on maybe having a time breeze following what he did just a few days ago, because that was a little bit more of his, I believe Ramiro Restrepo called it heavy work.
Well, that's what you want to do. 2 weeks out, like the heavy work, and then just go easy before the race. He's been running, consistently pretty much every month. So I don't think, in terms of finesse, we think he's ready. Just whether the plan is to keep him happy here, routine, get to know the surroundings, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's about getting lucky now, and knock on wood that it's still 10 days, and everything continues to go right, and that's pretty much the plan.
I did hear that the whole family is going to come here for the Kentucky Derby again.
The kids are coming, and they bring good luck, so that's good.
Always a good luck charm there with the kids. Well, best of luck, and we're excited to see him on track here this morning. He's going to be coming through our gap here pretty shortly. We shared this clocker stand 3 years ago, so we're excited to have you guys back.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Gustavo Delgado Jr. here with me, and the Puma is going to be walking through the Lucas Gap here very shortly. Back to you guys.
Caitlin and Gustavo are clocker stand buddies, apparently. What do you think of the Puma?
I don't know what to make of him. You have to give him a lot of consideration. He's right there in the Florida Derby, and I think that's the premier prep this year leading up to the Kentucky Derby.
He's really done nothing wrong.
He really has. He's just had a lot to do in a short span.
Yeah. If you are wanting to bet the Puma, what better way to build that bankroll than joining us on opening weekend? Racing on Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, for the first time since 2010, we're back for a full weekend slate of action here at Churchill. And the first post, both days, 12:45 opening night, is a thing of the past. We'll draw the Oaks in the Derby after race number 3 on Saturday, and we'll find out where these horses slot in. The post position draw presented by Ford. You can watch it live online on all the various social channels and video channels and what have you. And we'll see who gets post 1. We'll see who gets post 20 on Saturday. If you're in the Louisville area, and why wouldn't you want to be during Derby season, you can come out and join us here at Churchill Downs for Dawn at the Downs. Your opportunity to watch these Kentucky Oaks and Derby horses train up close starts at 7 a.m. starting tomorrow, right here at Churchill Downs. You can see everybody hanging out, waiting for the Oaks and the Derby horses to come out to the racetrack, training after this break. We'll be back from Churchill Downs.
When it comes to horse racing, you can never have too much information. With Twin Spires, you can place your bets with confidence, whether you use handicapping insights like our Brisnet speed ratings, prime power and past performances, the guidance of our experts' top picks, or just choose a name that catches your eye. Yes! No matter how you pick your horse, bet with Twin Spires. And now you can race to victory with Twin Spires tournaments.
Elegance is an attitude.
And welcome back to Churchill Downs, presented by TwinSpires.com. This is the morning workout show, Wednesday of the week before Derby week. You can see the tractors out on the racetrack, harrowing the racetrack, getting us ready for that special designated training time for Oaks and Derby runners and Derby winners. Sovereignty is going to be out there this morning. Looking forward to seeing that. All right, we've got the Derby. We also have the Oaks. And Tony, this is my 11th or 12th year here at Churchill, and I got to say, this is probably the most competitive Oaks we've had in a decade.
It's incredible top to bottom. We're trying to figure out what the price of the eventual post-time favorite will be. 4-1, 9-2. That's how competitive this year's Kentucky Oaks is.
I mean, you could flip a coin and tell me that it was Percy's Bar, and I'd believe you. Then you could tell me it was Meaning, and I believe you. Full field. There's a little bit of pace in there. Doesn't feel like it's super fast, but it's going to be honest. Just a race where, and speed figure-wise, they're all very competitive.
It's one of the most difficult handicapping assignments that we're going to be given all weekend.
Yeah, and last fall we saw Bella Ballerina run here at Churchill Downs, and we headed into the winter thinking that she was going to be one of the major players for this year's Kentucky Oaks. And I don't want to say she's completely dismissed herself, but she is coming in off a loss, and I've said it on the show this week. I do wonder whether or not she's really a horse that's going to want to go these 9 furlongs, but she still gets plenty of attention.
You talk about it, how she's getting a little dismissed. It's because she finished second to Life of Joy. She's 3 for 3 before that affair. She's been a definitive favorite in 3 out of her 4 races, and because of the recent loss, she's going to have value on the first Friday in May.
A lot of recency bias in the tote board lately with races like the Oaks and the Derby. Coming off a loss, you get dismissed pretty quickly. Bella Ballerina for trainer Brendan Walsh, who of course has some experience in the Kentucky Oaks, certainly warrants a shot in this year's race. It's just very competitive, and when you look at the speed figures, they're all sort of right there, and trying to figure out who's the one that's going to take the step forward. I will tell you, one horse that has really impressed me through replay watching has been Counting Stars. Her very first career race really hinted at some legitimate ability, and I feel like last time, even though it was a small field and sort of a soft setup, it really kind of came to the surface.
I agree. I've been a big fan of her from the very beginning. She had workouts leading up to the debut that hinted that there was an immense amount of talent there. She has thrown in a couple of duds in her career. That's a little concerning, but the other 5 races have been rock solid.
The other thing is, trainer Mark Cassie's not afraid to run and lose. It's just, it's horse racing. So he races his horses and allows those races to keep the fitness going and allow the horse to develop. So in many ways, I kind of don't mind that. When they do get into form for him, they do seem to stay in form.
She's a beautiful filly, and if you look at her past performances, I mean, she has never been taken out of training since she started. I mean, she ran late into her 2-year-old campaign, and she hasn't missed a beat, and she's shown some versatility in the most recent start.
She's also versatile, and I mentioned earlier, I was on the show with Steve Bick yesterday, and Mike Wolf said that she was galloping strongly, and Further Ado was behind her galloping just as strongly, but was not gaining any ground. For whatever that's worth, she was making a favorable impression. Mark Cassie, if Counting Stars doesn't want to show up, it's not the worst thing in the world for your alternative to be a horse named Search Party.
Search Party doesn't quite have the credentials as the one we were just talking about, Counting Stars, but Mark Cassie, a heck of a horseman, that's for sure. And as we talk about it all the time, these horses can jump up and improve in quite a short span there.
Yeah, and when you have a competitive races like this and sort of the speed figures and the ability levels seem to be all on the same level, you never know. All it takes is a couple little variables to go one way or the other. And here's a look at Search Party on the racetrack yesterday.
I think she's going to have to improve a little bit. She was behind Explorer and Counting Stars in the Honeybee, and she was soundly defeated by her stablemate in the subsequent start, the Fantasy. Obviously, I like Counting Stars much better.
Counting Stars is, she's just so versatile. She can send it to wherever you need her to be, she will go. Alan Hardy, assistant trainer to Mark Cassie, spoke with us some more about these Oaks contenders.
Counting Stars, she's kind of a little spunky, can be a little happy, hot-tempered, and Search Party, she's very sweet. She's kind of like a cupcake, just very mellow. They're all a pleasure to be around. Silent Tactic, he's kind of just all business. He loves his job, and he's a pretty strong, tough, big, solid horse, and he walks in that demeanor, and he's very, very, very fun horses to be around.
It's always cool hearing the personalities of. You've been around some horses. All horses are like people. They all have personalities, quirks, and demeanors.
They really do. It's awesome. I mean, if you haven't spent much time on the backside, I would suggest just even taking a tour. It's really it's pretty cool. You've been involved with some folks that have trained horses before. It's not just about getting to a certain fitness level. It's about cracking the code of what that horse wants to do, how they want to be treated, and speak a little bit about that. Yeah, I would agree with. I mean, you can't train every horse, or it's like training a human. Some humans have better training styles, and depending on their sport. But equines, horses, they all have their own different personalities, and they're all built differently. So you can't put the same horse through the same regimen. Yet you have a basic guide how you go about doing it, but you got to know when you got to ease up or when you got to turn up the intensity. Yeah, horses, like humans, they can be quirky. Once you figure them out, though. They're such beautiful creatures. Yeah, they really are. There's a connection humans have with horses for a reason. There is. Speaking of horses and human connection, nothing like connecting the two and making some money. And if you're going to do so, do it at twinspires.com. And don't forget to check out the tournaments. We've talked a lot about these tournaments, Tony. They're a lot of fun. And now we are offering bet and set tournaments. Kind of reminds me of that, what was that rotisserie, the Ronco Showtime? Set it and forget it. Remember those infomercials where you set it and then you forget it and it cooks all the food for you? Well, that's what you can do in these tournaments. All right, I'll take your word on it. I'm hungry. It's, okay. What is it, 7 a.m.?
Also, BetShare. I mean, I'm in some group texts. I will say, playing tickets with friends is a lot of fun. It can be a little bit stressful sometimes when you want to add a horse or you want to add a horse. BetShare gives you the opportunity to offer up a ticket and shares in that ticket to other horse players, and you can all root your wagers home and hopefully cash together and figure out the Venmo situation from there.
Can't have too many chefs in the kitchen, Travis.
Oh, yeah, that's so true. All right, well, the tractors are out cleaning up the racetrack. The special time is coming up. We'll see Oaks and Derby horses after the break.
When it comes to horse racing, you can never have too much information. With Twin Spires, you can place your bets with confidence, whether you use handicapping insights like our Brisnet speed ratings, prime power and past performances, the guidance of our experts' top picks, or just choose a name that catches your eye. Yes! No matter how you pick your horse, bet with Twin Spires. And now you can race to victory with Twin Spires tournaments.
With over 200 flavor notes to discover, every sip of Woodford Reserve Bourbon is a spectacle for the senses.
And good morning and welcome back to Churchill Downs. You can see the sun is rising through the sky. We are ready to go for the special Oaks and Derby training session. They keep the track clear of anybody except those that are going to participate in those two races, and with a minor exception here or there, such as today we are supposed to be seeing last year's Derby winner Silent Tactic Sovereignty come onto the racetrack. I had Silent Tactic on my mind. We can see a horse waiting to enter the racetrack now. I can't read those blinkers to figure out who that might be. Maybe Caitlin can tell them to turn sideways so we can get a look at the saddle cloth. There's Wonder Dean. Oh, Wonder Dean, Tony.
Wonder Dean. We're getting very accustomed to Wonder Dean.
He's these Japanese runners. They do a lot of exercise out here at Churchill Downs.
He's making up for the other Japanese horses that haven't arrived yet.
At the non-Bourbon in flight supposedly. Don Bourbon's a horse. I'm telling you. I think that horse is going to run a good race.
I watched all three of his replays last night.
Right? Yeah, ears forward at the wire. He's okay. Wonder Dean.
His colors and his silks.
Yeah.
Seattle Slew. I mean, I'm not saying he's the Slew, but...
Okay, Tony, making a big call.
No. I'm just saying, you know what I'm getting at.
I got you. Wonder Dean won last time in Maidan. I felt like that was the time to have him off a no-hope trip in Saudi. He doesn't have a lot of gate speed, but he did show improved gate speed last time, so perhaps that bodes well for him coming to this year's Kentucky Derby as he takes in all the sights and sounds back there in the chute.
Mile and 3/16 victory, so that's good for him. And as you said, he improved with getting away from the gate, so hopefully continue that trend for the Kentucky Derby.
I think that's a trend this year. If you look through all the replays of all these horses, there are not a lot of super sharp gate horses. In fact, there's quite a few what I call mid-breakers where they tend to break at mid-pack or even worse. The one that comes to mind as being one of the best gate horses isn't even in the race yet, and that's incredible. Like, he just gets out of the gate so smooth and is quickly in position. So if he draws in, that's something to note there. But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of horses.
Intrepido, is that maybe?
Intrepido,
yes.
Yeah. Who did I say?
Incredible.
Oh no, Incredible. Intrepido.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Incredible. Man, Tony, we're losing our mind. We're still 10 days out.
Hey, it's tough. Especially, we've been staring at Wonder Dean for like 3 days now. So here we go. We get another look now.
Some more action as it come onto the racetrack. Is that Pavlovian?
Yes, I think it would be.
We talked a lot about emerging market earlier in the show, and you got to be honest, Pavlovian was right there with him in that Louisiana Derby.
Talk about a horse who's battle-tested, the most experienced of the 3-year-olds in this year's Kentucky Derby. This will be his 11th career start. In his last 2, he has improved. He took the blinkers off for a couple of races, and Doug quickly recognized he needed them back on, and he's put in back-to-back bang-up performances.
He's got tactical speed, which will help him. He got better when they stretched him out. We were just talking about it, though. He sometimes has a tendency to not break with the front markers, if you will, and that probably would be an issue for him. But I guess we're to the point now where if nobody breaks well, then maybe they all break well.
Well, his last two races, once again, the blinkers got put back on, and it looks like he maybe had a little bit better starts than the previous. You look at his form, and he was kind of somewhat of a closer, much of a closer, farther off the pace, and from a positional standpoint, not necessarily a length standpoint, but recently he's been to the race early, and he's entering the affair on a positive note, and Doug can get it done. Doug's won the Kentucky Derby a couple of times.
Pavlovian comes from the West Coast, and so too does So Happy, who arrived at Churchill Downs this week. This will be our first chance to check out So Happy. Blue blinkers there on screen, and the bright yellow saddle cloth. Can't miss those Derby horses. This is a horse, Tony, that when you watch his replays, it is obvious there's some real talent there. That was a breakthrough effort in the Santa Anita Derby. I personally wonder about being by Run Happy, who is a great sprinter, world-class sprinter. Is that 10th furlong going to be an issue for him?
You would think so with the Run Happy blood up top, but he does have Blame blood on the bottom. And, when you start to underestimate the California contingency, look at last year, Journalism Baeza, second and third. California, the Santa Anita Derby has always been a powerful prep leading up to the Kentucky Derby, and we haven't seen him yet. No wonder why we couldn't figure it out. He only had MG on his blinkers, Mark Glatt.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Should have figured that out.
Some things are easier after you put two and two together with about 20 seconds, huh?
It is early. It's early, right?
He did show a lot of heart defeating Potente in the Santa Anita Derby, and he's only ever lost one race in his life, and that was the San Felipe, and that was his second start as a 3-year-old.
It is kind of crazy to think that. Let me put it to you this way. If this was trained by Bob Baffert, he's one of the favorites.
He's definitely single digits.
And that's not a slight on Mark Glatt.
No.
It's just that's how this Derby betting goes. Like, people latch on to themes and traditions and the way things always were.
This has to be Mark's first Kentucky Derby. Mark's a pretty good horseman.
It would be a great story, too, for all that he's been through. Caitlin's on the backstretch. What you got for us, Caitlin?
Well, standing here in the Lucas Gap, getting a good look at Riley Mott's both horses. Albus just walked out in front of me, and Incredible is just behind him. This is the first time I've seen Incredible on the track. I wasn't here yesterday. And Albus is a horse that I've just been really taken by physically. Incredible. It's a little smaller, a little bit more of a compact type of horse than Albus is, but both of them I don't think we're going to have a question of the mile and a quarter. A couple other horses that I just saw for the first time. Pavlovian just walked out. That's the first time I've seen him. Chip Honcho we've seen quite a bit. Wonder Dean we've seen a lot of. And here comes Intrepido coming out here onto the track. I believe he's 22 on the AE list. So looking to get into this race here, and most of these California invaders just arrived here yesterday. We still got a couple more coming in the coming days. Potente for Bob Baffert scheduled to be here shortly, but a lot of new arrivals this morning, horses I'm just getting my eyes on for the first time. But Pavlovian, I would say, really like the looks of him when he came out.
Thank you, Caitlin. Pavlovian. We talked about him battling with emerging market. The one thing about So Happy here, Tony, is I was pulling up my notes while Caitlin was giving us her update. He does have some races where he broke in stride, and he also had a race where he didn't, but he got brushed coming out of the starting gate, so a bit of an excuse there. But I made a note. This was a quick move, and he swept by horses in the Santa Anita Derby. Quick moves are the moves that you need to make if you want to win races like the Kentucky Derby.
Quick moves can allow you to overcome traffic issues. They can get you out of a tough spot in a short, in a real quick manner. So Happy, the one race that he didn't fire his best race was when he was really contesting the pace. Those were pretty taxing fractions in the San Felipe, 22 and 4, 46 and 3. He's much better when he sits a little bit of a trip, and that's the kind of trip I envision in the Kentucky Derby.
I made a note in that race. He still stuck around to the end, though. It's not like he completely quit, and I thought that was admirable, kind of in a difficult spot. So Happy.
And it was his first race around 2 turns.
Yeah, so there's a lot of angles to consider there.
It's just hard to overcome the Run Happy blood up top. I'm having the difficulties with Albus with the Yalpon blood up top.
Yeah,
as well.
it kind of weighs on your mind.
It really does.
You heard Chad say in his soundbite, everybody feels good to the 8th pole. It's that 10th furlong, which really is the great equalizer. So Happy. And this is pretty cool. Here's Sovereignty. A little bit of a bobble there as he's trying to get his feet going this morning. Last year's Kentucky Derby winner. Given the privilege of training with these Oaks and Derby horses, Bill Mott said that he's going to train here for a little bit. They're probably going to bring him up to Saratoga, New York, where Bill likes to bring most of his horses. And then he's going to come back and potentially contest the Stephen Foster. What did you think of his return race?
I thought it was bang up, that's for sure. I came away ultra impressed with it. He went to the lead using tactics that we haven't seen, and he repelled journalism every bit of the way. White Barrio fell into a perfect trip. The gallop out was tremendous, and to be honest, Travis, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't lose another race in his career.
It is funny how we just get so obsessed with wins, and particularly if you look at social media, everybody was, you know. But this is horse racing, and there are bigger and longer term goals at play. And that was his first race since August of last year. I mean.
And if you really think about it, Travis, the Breeders' Cup and the Dubai World Cup were his immediate goals after the Travis.
Yeah.
After the Travers, not the Travis.
Nobody's named the race after me.
Yeah, well, I think it's on its way.
Sovereignty. Great to have him here. If you come out for Down at the Downs this week, you'll get to see last year's Kentucky Derby winner Pavlovian, who Caitlin mentioned caught her attention. Figures to be a prominent horse in that first run to the turn. 2 furlong run to the turn with a lot of people screaming at you. So we'll see how that affects the pace and how these horses settle in. Doug O'Neill, though, he knows how to win a Derby.
He certainly does. Doug's a tremendous trainer, and he took the blinkers off 4 starts back, and he put them back on for the Sunderland Derby. Very, very game victory that particular day, and a game defeat in the Louisiana Derby, going 1 mile and 3/16. A horse that is coming into this race in a positive way, and he's battle tested. He has the most starts of any 3-year-old in this year's race. He's going to be making his 11th career start.
He just went by the Trek Kitchen, which makes me think about a breakfast burrito. Perhaps we'll make a journey over there ourselves after this, Tony.
Twist my arm.
Pavlovian seems to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, he's making a very nice appearance. You know, you just want to see him comfortable and happy. You don't want to see him showing antics, being, you know, upset, unsettled.
Yeah.
So that's what you want to see when they're especially making their first appearance.
You actually could hear that in Gustavo's interview earlier, where he's like, you know, all the hard work is done. We just have to get lucky from here on out. Like, subtitle, don't let anything happen.
Well, that's all they can hope for, and that's what we can hope for as well as racing fans.
Pavlovian getting the Wonder Dean treatment.
Yeah, long look at him. Maybe a little bit of lather on the neck, but hey, that's all right. It's just his first time. So much was made last year about Sovereignty getting worked up in the morning.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people,
chatter. Yeah.
A lot of chatter about, hey, this isn't good. I don't know about you, Travis. I know when I'm exercising, I'm sweating pretty profusely.
I mean, I'm sweating even if I'm not exercising.
Yeah. What's the commercial? Don't ever let them see you sweat unless it's me and Travis.
As Pavlovian heads toward the new big board.
I do like that his running style has changed with the addition of the blinkers once again.
Yeah, Pavlovian. We'll see how he affects this early pace. And Credibolt is out on the racetrack. We heard Caitlin mention him as well. For trainer Riley Mott, I saw a couple of prominent sports figures tweet out yesterday that he, Dave Portnoy tweet out yesterday that he thinks this horse folks are sleeping on. Portnoy has a horse that possibly could get into the Oaks if things shake out his way, but this horse turned his eye, and it is a good-looking horse.
He is a very good-looking horse. I agree, and it was a very good-looking victory in the Virginia Derby. The question being, A, it was quite a while ago. It was on the 14th of March. B, it was a one-turn affair. Like Riley mentioned, he liked how the horse was into the race. He liked how he took the kickback. The fact he's going to be fresh out of a one-turn race, in a race that we're anticipating not a tremendous amount of pace, maybe he's one that gets a nice trip up somewhat close.
I have recalibrated some of my pace scenarios with Chip Honto drawing in. And the one thing I'll say about a horse like Incredibolt is when you come off freshenings or gaps like that, it is a little bit easier to handle if you're going to just lope along early and come with a late run as opposed to having to get right up into the race and be a participant in that pace. So perhaps that helps him out a little bit. There's meaning. Kentucky Oaks contender. This is a nice filly.
I agree. She's a very nice filly. Her most recent work was awesome. She seems to be coming in this affair in a positive manner. She only has 1 defeat in her entire 4-race career, and that was in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and that was a tall task, being her 2nd career start. She graduated at Los Alamitos, and then she has to go try to run in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. That's tough.
Didn't have the best of trips there either.
She did not, and she was, finished fourth. She beat more rivals than defeated her, and she wasn't beating that many lengths.
And ever since then, has done absolutely nothing wrong.
She has a good running style for this race. I don't think the real estate will pose much problems. Beautifully bred gun runner out of an Into Mischief mare. She was relatively close to legitimate fractions in the Santa Anita Oaks, 22 and change and 46 and change. I think she's a major player. The question is, the fact that this race is so contentious, you're going to get decent enough value, Travis.
Yeah, and it's funny. Remember her debut? She kind of did this rush up on the inside, and it was kind of an interesting middle move, and she finished it. And she had a bit of trouble in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and since then has done nothing wrong. And she was almost 4-5 last time. Nobody's going to be 4-5 this time. The one thing I'll say, depending on what speed figures you look at, she does have to get a little bit faster to be one of the top tier contenders. But as you alluded to earlier, that's not hard to do when you're a 3-year-old.
No, and I guess the other question could be sometimes the fillies that have been racing in California the last previous years, that division hasn't been as strong as other parts of the country.
Yeah. Although this is a very evenly matched group, so who knows where the stuff is coming from this year, the best stuff.
I think she's the best from California, and she's coming into this race.
Yeah, no two ways about it.
You've got to put her on your tickets.
I'm not playing any sort of multi-race wager without her.
Exactly.
She's just a major player for sure. Can you see that saddlecloth? Does that say
Intrepido?
Intrepido.
Yeah.
Oh, we talked about Intrepido.
I didn't even have my glasses on.
Yeah, this on the outside looking in right now, 21st on the list. Which we'll see what happens with stark contrast. I think that feels like a toss-up.
Right.
If he draws in, he has some tactical speed, and I mentioned he's got good gate speed. There are races on paper that give him a chance with a move forward, but he would certainly be a long shot. I'm not trying to create a scenario here where I think it's going to be a short price. He's certainly a long shot, an outsider in this race, but he's not without chance.
Not without chance. The good thing I think working in his favor is he appears to have a pretty good short-term memory. He's had some races that were undesirable, and he has just forgotten about them very quickly, rebounded. The most recent race, not his best, but hey, it was only his second start as a 3-year-old. If he could get back to the Robert B. Lewis affair, gives him a little bit of a chance. I thought he had a chance in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He didn't perform well that day.
Yeah, he underperformed that day.
He did.
Wonder Dean, one of many horses out on the racetrack, and a little bit more of a serious effort from Wonder Dean. Some of these other horses jogging the wrong way. This is not a jog the wrong way. This is a more intense effort here this morning.
Yeah, this is the most we've really seen of him. He's been pretty casual out there on the racetrack, and he's stretching his legs pretty sharply. You mentioned he's had a little bit of issues getting away from the gate in a clean manner, which has left him with more work to do. Maybe he's improving on that because he ran very well in the UAE Derby.
He did run well, and he beat a good horse in 6-speed, who might not be a 10 furlong type horse 6-speed, but 6-speed has real talent. I actually kind of like him. I like him for some of the maybe later races this year in particular where they cut back in distance a bit. But
6-speed with the Kentucky blood. Not this time, his sire out of a Medaglia d'Oro mare. So.
I'm telling you, he's going to lead them for a long time if he gets out of the gate. And maybe even a longer time than people think. Because he
War Emblem?
He's not run off speed. I mean, I have a hard time believing he gets away with, I think that half mile was 47.
Yeah.
Tom called it legitimate. I don't know if we see a 40. I don't know if we'll see a 47 in a while again. That's feels kind of like an impossibility at this point, but you never know.
Especially with 20-horse fields.
Yeah, talking half-mile time. It feels the tipping point typically in the Derby is in the 46s. When in the lower 46 half-mile time is when the race really starts to come apart.
Right.
So we'll see. It's like a very critical part is when that half-mile time comes up. For when you're watching the Derby in 10 days, is Wonder Dean now turns the wrong way. Seems to have finished up what he has going this morning. Here at Churchill. At the Foley barn in the background. Is Wren still there? Not sure.
Wonder Dean, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't seen him yet,
look at everybody. Even that horse has to check out Wonder Dean.
He's all, that's Wonder Dean.
Wonder who that was. Here at Churchill. Oh, now the racetrack started opening up to Gen Pop. Let's head back to the backstretch now in Wren Carruthers. We saw So Happy for the first time today, Tony, and she's standing by with some owners of So Happy.
So happy to be joined by the owners of So Happy, Hans and Anna Marin. And you've got to be just over the moon with this horse. He looked phenomenal on track just now.
Thank you. Yeah. No, he's showed up. He's getting better every day. He's big, strong. I think everybody thought sprinter type, but he's a long, big, nice looking horse. Takes a lot from Blame on the mare side, and we're of course excited to be here.
Well, as you mentioned, he's by Run Happy, so that's why people are like, oh, well, a champion sprinter. But Run Happy himself is a son of Super Saver who won the Kentucky Derby, and then Blame won the Classic right here at Churchill Downs. How has this ride been for you? I know it's very bittersweet.
Oh, it's been really good. I mean, we all trying to just move forward and actually trying to do it in honor of Dina. So we all believe that she'll be right over here looking after our shoulders and on Mike's. And I think it's so exciting. It's been so exciting. Mark's first time, Mike Smith trying to break a record. Us, little old us, I always say we're not a big syndicate. It's just Hans and I and our partner, Robbie Norman. It's just himself. So, it's just dreams do come true.
Dreams do come true. And just beyond this, what has this experience been like for you just being here this morning?
Like a roller coaster? No, it changes all the time. Like you're just happy to be here, but then you kind of get a shock wave of emotion. You're like, oh, this is Churchill Downs, this is Kentucky Derby. And, you're just taking it all in. I mean, we're new to it, so, we're just, I mean, every day is a little different, so we've raced a lot, we're involved. We, have a lot of racehorses, but it's a little bit different, right? Yeah.
The Kentucky Derby is definitely a little bit different. Hans, Anna, thank you so much, and we look forward to more from So Happy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Oh, great interview. You can see they're both excited and a little bit nervous and a little on edge and all the feels.
Rightfully so. It must be a lot of emotions you have to bring in.
Yeah, and ponder. And I mean, even from this side of the racetrack, it's a long run in. It's a lot to balance. Well, one thing I will say, we were checking out Wonder Dean, and Kevin Kirstein did just text over some time, so I guess they actually put him on the clock.
Okay.
And he went 48-1, 101, 113-3, and 127. So I guess that was a recorded breeze. And he also noted that Lovely Gray went 48-1 in a breeze earlier. And Lovely Gray is that the Portnoy horse?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about her for the Kentucky Oak. So
Portnoy must really like Incredible to be touting a non-gray.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I mean, yeah, that's true. So, Silent Tactic, we talked to Alan Hardy, assistant trainer to Mark Cassey. Here he is out on the racetrack earlier this morning. Some of these trainers bring their horses out earlier in the day. I'm sure they have to balance their exercise riders and what their timing looks like. They got big stables. They got to figure this all out. So here's him earlier this morning, Silent Tactic.
Stretching his legs beautifully, good-looking individual, as is most of the time here with the horses leading up to the Kentucky Derby. Hasn't really done much wrong. This is a horse that I think is going to be somewhat in the ballpark of 20, 25-1. And if you look at his resume, 6 starts with the 2 wins in 4 seconds, boy, that's a good price.
Yeah, he's supposed to work, I believe, Thursday they're talking about. Maybe tomorrow is what they're angling for with Silent Tactic. Bella Ballerina, last year's Goldenrod winner, was considered one of the major players for this year's Kentucky Oak. She still is. Maybe a little bit of the shine came off with the most recent loss, but here she is earlier today.
She has the connections, that's for sure. Brendan Walsh and Godolphin, pretty mischievous in her corner. A defeat in the most recent start. That was the first blemish in her 4-race career. If you're a fan of her, the one thing that you can be happy about is you're going to get a bigger price than you've ever seen on her in her career. The lowest price she's ever been was 4-1. The other 3 races, she's been a pretty much defined favorite. She's got to be higher than 4-1 in this spot because the favorite probably is somewhat in that neighborhood.
I mean, Bella Ballerina should be 6, 7, or 8-1.
You would have to think so.
Yeah, because Counting Stars could take some money, Meaning's going to take some money. We'll see how that shakes out in terms of
This could be the favorite coming up.
Yeah, Further Ado is an interesting runner for this year's Kentucky Derby because his 2 wins at Keeneland were just absolutely spectacular. His win at Churchill, less so, but it was a win nonetheless. He's doing very well on the racetrack so far.
He has. He's made a grand appearance, that is for sure. His workout after the bluegrass showed that there was no regression, no fear of the bounce. Anytime a horse can win by double digits, you have to take another look. He's done it on 2 occasions, 20-length victory graduating, 11-length victory in the bluegrass. Granted, both of them at Keeneland, but he does have a victory here at Churchill Downs to conclude his 2-year-old campaign.
Further ado, probably goes off in the single-digit range. Just how low does he go, I think, is one of the interesting considerations for this Brad Cox contingent, including Commandment, who, if you talk to many sharps, like you, Tony, you like Commandment.
I do like Commandment. Selfish reasons, obviously. I bet him in pool 2, so I'm getting a heck of a number, that's for sure. But he hasn't really done much wrong. I thought he had trouble on debut at Keeneland, and I thought his graduation score going 7/8 of a mile was awesome. And he hasn't missed a beat. Now, you don't really get a lot of horses exiting the Mucho Macho Man that become become players in the Derby.
Well, the other thing to consider there is that it was just Brad's first serious winter at Gulfstream Park, so it's kind of just, it feels a bit jarring because we typically see him at the fairgrounds in Oaklawn with some of the horses, but this year he went to Florida with all of his good horses. So having him running races like this is kind of like, whoa, I haven't seen this before, and it makes you think a little bit.
And Sovereignty used the Fountain of Youth and Florida Derby to get to the Kentucky Derby winner's circle. And one thing, Gulfstream Park sometimes favors horses in front of them in the stretch.
Yeah, and Commandment had to go wide, although Mike Walsh did say yesterday that there was a period of time at Gulfstream this winter where as we say in racing, the rail was dead. In other words, it was deeper down inside, and he felt that might have played into Commandment's hands late in the race, but not early, where he was down inside saving some ground. So if you are deep into the weeds on trip handicapping, do go back and check out some of those charts from Gulfstream and check those replays out to try and help you connect those dots as we wrap up with our Oaks and Derby training, and we welcome you back upstairs to the Aristides Loft. Somebody took Tony's fan. So
I know who took it.
But he's been on his game nonetheless today. So.
It's not too bad up there.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's a very pleasant morning here in Louisville.
It was a little chilly the last couple days. That was because I had to have that fan on us.
Yeah. So we're rolling through Derby week and the week leading up to it. And of course, on Saturday is opening day, opening weekend now, with racing on Sunday as well. First post both days is at 12:45. I perused the cards. There's some potential plays there that you can sink your teeth into and pad that bankroll for the following week. And of course, on Saturday as well, we'll be drawing both the Oaks and the Kentucky Derby, starting at 2 o'clock between races 3 and 4, presented by Ford. If you're not here at Churchill, you can, of course, check things out on all the various social media channels, YouTube, X, Facebook, wherever you'd like to go, log in and see who draws where, and then you can really dive into your serious handicapping. Tony, today we saw some horses for the first time. We saw So Happy from the West Coast. We saw some Pavlovian. Any thoughts, any changing thoughts? What caught your eye?
Not a lot caught my eye. We didn't see any breezes, and just good to see the horses making nice appearances in their first trips over the racetrack. It's going to start really getting into full gear here pretty soon, and I'm looking forward to being a fan for the next few days, listening to other people's perspective.
All right, Caitlin's on the backstretch, and Caitlin, before your nail appointment to get those nails colored up for our event later tonight. Looking forward to that, by the way. What's your takeaway from this morning?
Definitely looking forward to our event a little bit later on tonight. And my nail appointment is actually on Friday, so it is going to have to wait. But I liked what I saw from Pavlovian. I did agree with you guys. He was a little bit warm. He kind of had sweat in a couple of different places, a little bit of kidney sweat as well as on the neck. I'm going to do a little bit of research and talk to a few people that are a little bit more familiar with him than I am and really kind of see how typical that is of him. I think that's going to be a little bit more of useful information rather than just observation here on the grounds to see what his normal is in the morning. And I have to say, I'm still taken by what I see from Albus. He's just such a good-looking horse. I'm not sure he's good enough to win the race. I don't think the distance is going to be a problem for him based on breeding and what we've heard from Riley Mott as well as Jaime Torres. He's a horse that, based on what I've seen from him already here, that I could be interested in kind of including in some of those underneath portions of my selections come Derby time. But let's go ahead and send it on over to Ren Carruthers to wrap it up for us here on the backstretch. Ren?
Thank you, Caitlin. What a nice morning it's been. Nice and mild from a temperature standpoint, and really nice to meet some new faces here. Getting to speak with Hans and Anna, owners of So Happy. I got to tell you, for all you out there who are doubting this horse because he's by a champion sprinter, again, remember, there are Kentucky Derby credentials in that pedigree, and he looks like a two-turn horse to me, to my eye. Won the Santa Anita Derby with great energy, so I would not discount him. Also, it was fun to give out that pedigree profile on Emerging Market. One point I wanted to bring up that I forgot to. Empire Maker being his broodmare sire, son of Unbridled, so you got even more Kentucky Derby mile and quarter credentials there. But yeah, lots going on. I'm going to go to the barns, get some more interviews, get some more insight, and we'll be back with you in the morning tomorrow. But for now, it is back to you, Travis and Tony, in the studio.
Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Ren. Darren Rogers making a cameo there in the background behind Ren on the backstretch, which is a little bit busier today than it was yesterday, and it's going to keep getting busier with each and every day. Bet
on some 4-5-40.
There you go. Bet and set. I got a text. It was a crock pot that set it and forget it.
Oh.
Which means you can you put your picks in and you don't have to worry about it. And for those that play tournaments, it's sometimes frustrating when you get to the later stages of these things and people just start taking long shots to try and pass you. This eliminates that component, and now you just got to be a better handicapper, which for some of us is very scary, right, Tony? And don't forget about BetShare. You don't have to invest in the entire ticket yourself. Go ahead and split it up amongst some friends and family and get everybody involved. There's nothing better than a good group ticket when they're coming down the stretch in the payoff leg, and if things pan out, it's good problems to have, figuring out how to distribute those funds. Or, twinspires.com takes care of it for you. So BetShare on twinspires.com. Share the thrill with your fellow horse players, friends, and family, and do so all week, starting with opening day and onward, 10 days out.
10 days out, and boy, it's going to start to heat up from here. More horses will be making their way here. We've seen most of the major moves, but can't wait. It's getting more and more exciting every day.
Tony's off tomorrow. I'm back for one more day before one more day next week. Big Kilroy sitting next to me tomorrow, so looking forward to that. Be sure to tune in tomorrow morning. Otherwise, have a great afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.